Hi, Renee.
Hello, Marvina. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am well as well.
Okay, good. That's
There we
good
go.
to
Can't beat
hear.
it, right?
Can't beat it. How you doing with this heat?
I am just not liking it at all. I think I told somebody the other day, every time I see 100 show up on my phone, I just rebuke it in the name of Jesus. It's like I'm just not liking it at all.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it has been pretty warm. We talking about coming off of our last episode of talking about winters. We are definitely in the summer,
Oh
right?
man. Man.
The heat is turned up.
Yep, yep. And how is it when we're kids, we don't mind it, right?
Right,
You're out there
yeah.
on the slip and slide or you're running through the
Yeah.
sprinklers. And I know we were probably hot, but it just was
Yeah.
like kind of like, well, it's just the way it was.
Yeah.
Now, I think we're just spoiled with like air
We
conditioning.
are.
Yeah. And
We
this
know
is,
we have choices. We
yeah,
have choices.
yeah.
And I think the innocence of children, and I think that's why the it gives you insight to why the Bible um refers to the innocence of children, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
just happy to be out there with your friends, your cousins, your
Yeah.
siblings, and we're just making the best of it. And adults are in the house getting on our nerves. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, you're free,
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how um sometimes I guess what we're presented with in life depends on perception, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, it's been hot here, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll be complaining about the rain soon
Soon
enough.
enough. Yeah. Soon enough. Well, at least we don't have our moms locking the doors and making us stay outside, right? You said we're out there
I
loving it
thought
with
that was just
friends.
a black parent thing,
Oh
but
no,
clearly it is.
no. It's like, no, just
Right.
stay outside. Just sit on the porch. Just, you know, splash
Yeah.
yourself with the hose. It's
Yeah.
just, you're out there till dinner, sucker.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh my
Oh
goodness. But
gosh.
yeah. So we're at episode 79.
Yes, ma'am.
And today we're going to talk about just kind of more so have a conversation.
Okay.
Um, and I was thinking about the people who encourage everyone also need encouragement
Hmm.
sometimes.
Hmm.
And coming off of our last episode, talking about sometimes we're comfortable in a state of winter. And I think for those that like or that are encouragers or try to always encourage people in our walk with Christ, we're always thinking about um what we need to give to others or what we need to share with others or and sometimes I had mentioned how sometimes winter is okay for me because I could just
Yeah.
snuggle in.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think that comes from because you're always outwardly giving so much
Hmm.
that it feels okay to just disconnect and be just content with no one, you know.
Hmm.
And um so I just wanted to kind of have a conversation about just because you're the strong one, it doesn't mean you never get tired.
Right.
And just here lately, I've been, life is good. I'm very thankful. A lot of great things are going on, but a lot of great things are going on, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had talked about kind of like, spring, everything is opening up and, coming back to life. But it can be overwhelming
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes because it's so many things.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that just where I'm at in my life right now, and again, I have a lot of great things happening, but it's juggling the great things
Hmm.
and
Right.
not getting lost in it, right? And so I had shared with you that we had talked about um I have a new position. And in addition to that, I have some entrepreneurial things going on that I've, been working on. And so I'm very in my winter, God has taught me how to set boundaries and to kind of set boundaries like between work and my personal life.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I've been trying to be very I don't know if adamant is the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use. I've been trying to be very adamant about not letting those cross, meaning
Right.
not getting in the way of each other, right?
Right.
And so, as part of learning, coming into this new position, new duties, just a lot of different things. I'm sitting in my office and my mind is just spinning, and I'm like, oh, okay, God, like I'm really happy for the wonderful things, but this is a lot. And I just started kind of spinning in my mind, and my phone was sitting uh on the charger on my desk. And so one of our episodes had just posted, and I received the notification, and it just said balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I remember balance. And that's what it's about. And
Hmm.
sometimes we have to recognize that we are carrying a lot for us to even find the balance. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Um, have you ever reached a point where you realize that you're carrying more than you knew?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you go,
I
I'm like, okay.
remember when we talked, I said, what would you do if I ever just said no? It was like, you just went right on. I like that. I like that. Oh my gosh.
That's what we do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
something pops up, and I think that's what I'm dealing with. Some is learning that sometimes you got to just stop,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Sometimes we just keep going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that real life lesson, Renee. That real life uh what is the word I'm looking for?
Well, it was an example.
Example.
It was a clear
Yes.
illustration of
Yes. So back to
yeah.
my question.
Back to your question. Yeah.
Have you ever reached a point where you realized that you were carrying more than you knew, than you even knew?
Yeah, sometimes I can spread myself a little bit thin. I try to balance pretty well as far as giving myself time to just relax and kind of unwind.
Yes.
I do know the feeling of that though. When my sister, my youngest sister,
Mhm.
had been diagnosed with a brain tumor.
Okay.
And so took her to the hospital. They did their assessment, but I think their CAT scan machine was done at the time. So
Okay.
they say, well, take her home with this terrible headache, debilitating headache, and just give her this medication. Well,
Okay.
didn't ease up. So they finally scheduled her for a scan, and they determined that she had a brain tumor on the stem of her brain.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so they did surgery, but the surgeon came out and he says, well, let me back up. She had gone to the church and had the elders pray for her.
Okay.
So then we go into the surgery. The surgeon comes out and he says she did fine. It was about a 10-hour surgery. And he says, we did fine. We were able to get most of it. He says, but we have to send this off to the Mayo Clinic because we don't know what was inside the casing.
Got
He
it.
says,
Got
we
it.
have no clue. And he
Wow.
kind of described it a little bit. And he says, we just don't know. So they sent it off to the Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
And it was probably about 6 weeks later, uh, I get a call from my sister. And she said they just got back to us. They said they have no clue what that was,
Wow.
but they can say for sure it's not cancer. And
Wow.
we believe that God just di-
Mm-hmm.
disintegrated whatever it was that was harmful in that tumor.
Right.
But I always remember that moment when she said that there was nothing serious wrong. And somebody was sitting at my desk and they said they literally saw everything drain off of me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
at that point, I didn't realize how much I was
Mhm.
carrying it. The
Yeah.
worry, the concern, because
Wow.
you just get through it. You just do it, you know? And
Wow.
so, in that respect, I know what it means to realize, oh my gosh, I was carrying so much more than I ever imagined, you
Mhm.
know? So,
Wow.
yeah.
And I think that's we get into this cycle in life where we do that. We
Mhm.
just because life doesn't stop. We got to keep
Right.
moving, you know. A lot of us, we have families, we have work, we have um, organizations that we're part of. We have grandchildren, we have nieces and nephews, we have siblings. Life does not stop.
Right.
And I think that and you get used to just moving forward. And it's funny because a lot of times that's what I'm realizing now how much sometimes I'm carrying. And
Mhm.
so I think that sometimes we have to realize that even though we're strong, sometimes strong people cry.
Mhm. Mhm.
Strong people need rest.
Right.
Strong people get discouraged. Do you know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
think sometimes we feel guilty about those things. We
Right.
feel guilty about being discouraged. We're like, God, I know who I serve. We feel guilty about that sometimes. And we've had conversations where you've heard me out loud have to talk myself off the ledge.
Yes.
And so
Sometimes it's like you're losing the battle.
yeah.
Keep talking.
And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Nope, today we're just gonna jump. We're jumping off the ledge. I don't even care what um, but yeah, I think in this season of life for a lot of people, and like I said, it's not we carry a lot even when it's not like a lot of bad baggage, but it's
Right.
still baggage because we still all these new things are coming into our lives and you can get overwhelmed sometimes
Mhm.
even with that. And so I've had to um go back to s- sometimes the winter is a preparation time.
Mhm.
God is preparing us for the spring that is coming, right?
Yeah.
And so God has really been taking me back to these moments when I get overwhelmed in thought or I get overwhelmed with just all the things that I think I have to do. God will take me back to, but I've been preparing you for this.
Mhm.
Go back to what I taught you, right?
Mhm.
I really learned, God had me, He disconnected me from a lot of things. And I knew that time was going to be limited. And but I'm here now,
Yeah.
right? But I have to constantly take myself back
Yeah.
in my mind that God prepared you for this. He's already put he's already helped you to put certain things in place. I just got to go back to it. I have to go back to that time of rest. I have to go back to
Mhm.
making sure that those boundaries are reinforced, that he
Mhm.
taught me to put in place.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times, like I said, God is preparing us in the winter for the spring,
Mhm.
right? That's why animals hibernate and get their rest and because they're preparing for what is to come. And
Mhm.
so I'm seeing that more and more and I'm feeling that more and more. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I think we miss it a lot of times
Yeah.
because I think that it's just life. It's, oh, and as we talk to each other and we encourage each other, sometimes my husband, I'll come home and I'm just like dog tired. And, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it today. He's like, you could do it, you can make it. And even that irritates me sometimes. And I'm like, I already know that, but I don't want to. So I'm saying with that, sometimes we just get into this mode of it's gonna be okay, and we don't spend any time in it to really recognize what it is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so, and then I have to go back to, okay, God, you didn't, sometimes we take it on, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You didn't give all this to me to carry. I actually should be giving this to you to carry,
Hmm.
but I gotta give it to him. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so, so God has me in a period of this season in my life where he's bringing me back out
Yeah. Yeah.
and just learning how to carry those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simultaneously. And I know with his help, I'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but like in those moments when I get super irritated, there's a lot of moments where I get super irritated. But when I get super irritated, I have to go back to why is that? That's
Yeah.
because I'm taking on too much.
Right.
I'm thinking that this is a problem that I have to solve, and God is saying, you need to give it to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once I give it to him, the load is lifted, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's, we're learning.
Yeah. 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 Well, as you're talking about this, it reminds, and we've had this conversation on some of our podcasts closer to holidays.
Uh-huh.
And it goes back to if you're hosting Christmas dinner,
Uh-huh.
right? And you just want everything to be perfect. That's the expectation of you,
Right.
right? That it's got to be perfect and the silverware, and you realize, oh my goodness, I forgot to put the salad forks on the, and here comes Aunt Sally in the kitchen going, can I do that for you? Oh, no, 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 I got it, I got it, I got it. And then but now you're irritated, right? Because it's not all perfect and
Right.
people keep getting in your way.
Right.
And it's like, then you want to go, well, Lord, it's like, well, didn't I send you Aunt Sally?
Yep.
Didn't I
Yep.
send you? Didn't I send
Yep.
you Armand the other day to tell you it was going to be okay?
And it's funny because we just had this conversation
Uh,
the other day. We were talking, and I think we were talking about I was gonna look at you shared some counselor information with me, I
hmm
think it was. And so so you're
Did I share it twice? I think, I don't know.
whatever, Renee. But that's my whole point, right? And as we were talking, what I had mentioned to you is I know this is this for at that time this was the answer because it will help me to be able to find the tools to juggle the many things that I'm juggling with,
hmm
right?
hmm
And not only you mentioned it to me, you had a specific person that you referred me to, but my dad mentioned it too, you know what I'm saying? And so I said, I know, Renee, I know. He sends a plane, a train,
Yeah.
automobile.
Yeah.
But that is it, God. A lot of times, God is sending us the answer. It goes back to when we were talking about in our last episode uh, with how sometimes our pride can get in the way of, oh, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
it doesn't show up like pride, but that's what it is. We think we can take everything on. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes God has given us tools to be able to manage those things because God has put those things in our lives. And like I said, sometimes I think we think about reaching out for tools when everything is falling apart.
hmm hmm
When you might be in a season of building
Yeah.
and you need tools to help you do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to build it. And God is trying to give us the plans of that through
Right.
different means. And um,
Right.
so yeah, yeah.
And sometimes when you have somebody come and offer to help or lend a hand,
Hmm.
it's not because they see a failure in you. It
Mm,
could be
hmm.
that God has given them the gifts of help,
Yes.
and
So
they
true.
see it and they go, "Hey, can I help?"
Yep.
And so it's not, yeah, I think sometimes we we're so worried about the reflection of us.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
will it look if I have to have somebody run that errand for me or do that?
right,
And he's sent that person directly to
right.
you for the reason of running that errand for you, you know?
And it's literally an answer to your prayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you literally asked God to help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
Exactly.
helped.
Yeah. Exactly. And like you say, it's like, well, that story about the, the train and the all that, God
Yes,
sends it all in. And then he shakes
yes.
his head at you and you're still complaining about it. It's
It's
like,
still
come
complaining.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So in this season, in this season, that's what I'm learning um to listen, to hear God's voice in another way. Not that I haven't heard his voice in that way before, but again, you know, talking about the seasons and how it's a continuous work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
After this winter, spring, summer, and fall, the next winter, spring, summer, and fall is going to come
Yeah.
around again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm learning more and more how to accept the help
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that God is sending me, you
Yeah.
know? And what happens when we don't do that is we feel the burden instead of, because we can have a lot of responsibilities and we can carry those responsibilities without necessarily feeling the burdens of it.
Right.
And so um I'm definitely uh trying to hear the scripture that God brought me to. I'm looking it up now. This morning was, I think it was Matthew 11, I think it was. Let me see before I misquote. I think it was Matthew 11. Um, let's see. Yes, so Matthew 11:28 through 29. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me,
Mm-hmm.
for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.
Mm-hmm.
And then verse 30, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that sometimes we think that when we need rest, it's from like, um, it's not always negative.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning the things that are going on aren't always negative. Sometimes I think well, I do anyway, when I hear that you're weary from, sometimes we're weary from just all the things. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
gave me, I think we may have mentioned this in a previous episode, but you gave me you gave me an office warming gift, and it says chaos coordinator,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And sometimes we get overwhelmed with the chaos, and not even others, but our own chaos.
Right. Right.
And God has to come in and coordinate that, because it's just sometimes it could just be a whirlwind. And like I said, I'm very excited about the things that God is doing in my life. And I'm looking forward to it. But as sometimes here lately, I've been like, okay, God, do we really want to do this? Because this is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Sometimes it's easier to just stay in your winter. I go back to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we choose to stay there because we think the burden is too heavy. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I just I encourage our listeners to really lean into God. And if you're in a season in your life where there's a lot going on, good or bad, we got to give it to God. We
Yeah.
have to, he tells us to come to him, that he will easily take our burdens. And sometimes that is accepting the help that
Mhm.
is around you, leaning into those who are trying to, again, I'm always working on my mark the spirit, so
Yeah.
we're getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's sometimes we just gotta lean into God is providing, and we
Right.
have to recognize that. So
Yeah. And we have to know his heart. Like I
yeah.
say, if he sends help, you have to know the heart of God. You know, he's not going to leave you just stranded and struggling, and he's
Right.
going to provide for you. It made me think as you were talking about my grandfather
Uh-huh.
was an old time Pentecostal preacher,
Okay.
right? And he usually had struggling little churches that they were starting. Half Moon Bay, I think, was one of his first. And they
Okay.
started these ministries, right?
Okay.
And so my grandmother would tell the story that on Sunday mornings, she would put a roast in the oven so that dinner would be ready after church. But they held church in their home.
Okay.
So she had to have all the bedrooms cleaned because that's where they had Sunday school.
Okay.
And then she had to have the living room cleaned because that's where the adults would meet, right? And so it was just constant. And she was the piano player and she helped teach the kids. And so it was always something. It was like plate spinning almost. Get the
Right.
dinner ready, and she's running across the
Right.
stage trying to keep all these plates. So she told a story about as in their later years, I would say probably they were maybe in their late 70s.
Mhm.
They came they became acquainted to this young couple that was just starting out in the ministry. And the wife was expressing just how hard it was to manage all the expectations of the congregation and husband what she needed to do to help him. And she was saying to my grandmother and my grandfather, we haven't even been able to go on vacation because, you know, and my grandmother stopped them right there. And she said, your family is important. You
Mm.
take those vacations because
Yeah.
she had never experienced that. Grandpa was just, we got to be there. We got to do this. And I always was impressed with
Yeah.
that stuck with that young couple that, yeah, my family is important too. Serving the Lord is important for sure. But what is his heart in all of that? Well,
Right.
his heart is not that you serve him and lose your family,
Right. Right.
right? And
Right.
so they began doing that.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself how encouraging that was. And sometimes we don't recognize how important it is to encourage those that we see carrying those loads,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and whether it's accepted or not, whether you say, hey, can I help you with something? And they say, no, no. What about sending a card? Hey, I've been thinking
Right.
about you. You're in my prayers.
Right.
Or just say, hey, would you have time for a quick little lunch? I'd love to take you
Right.
to lunch, you
Yeah.
know? So recognizing those who are carrying the load
Right.
and just saying, going back to our last podcast, when that lady just showed up with groceries, it's like
Mhm.
my family was carrying a load, and she goes, "Let me help you with that. Let
Yeah.
me help you." And we had to see. We talked about how my dad could have been very angry that somebody would bring us charity, but we had to
Yes.
see God's heart in all of it.
Right.
God provided.
Right.
This woman responded to what God had asked. So
Right.
it's important to be an encouragement to those that we see that carry so much and to
Yes.
help them see it's okay to put some of it down.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
okay. It's okay that look at your expectations, readjust. Is this God asking you, or is it you thinking I'm a failure if I don't?
That's
You
right.
know?
That's right. One of the things that you said is, I think, is very important, and is what God has been dealing with me about a lot too, is family and those that are in our village, right? Meaning our friends, our family, and what God had been dealing with me about, and that's what, and I still have to remember, and I can't get so caught up in things, is God gives us a community that includes our family. To those are the ones we should be ministering to as well.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's the ministry. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because God has put us in circles of people our circle of influence. God has given us all a circle of influence. And I think sometimes we can get so caught up with all the other chaos that
Mm.
it takes us from where we should really be.
Right. Right.
And so I think that like, you talk about when we're doing ministry and things, we can get caught up in, not that we're not supposed to do that, not that we're not supposed to go out of our circle of influence sometimes, but sometimes we abandon that,
Right. Right.
because we're thinking, and I say the stage is over here, but not the stage in a sense of where you're trying to be seen, but you think the platform is over here, but God put you in that circle of influence for a reason. Just
Yeah.
when I think about you and I becoming friends, we've been friends for a long time.
Hmm.
We started out as work friends a long time ago,
Hmm. Yep.
but even then when we first met, and I think I shared before how thankful I've been for the people that God put in my place of work, because when I was trying to figure things out, you don't know what to do a lot of times because you're in a new arena. And the fact that when you go to someone and that they can encourage you, or that they just those little things make a difference.
Right.
Hey, I see what you're doing, or they you go and look for some information and they happily provide it. Those things, and so what I'm trying to get at is those everyday things, those everyday acquaintances that we make, they make a difference in people's lives.
Hmm.
And we can't get caught up in the chaos, because that takes us from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so um I really appreciate that, and I'm thankful that God has given me the circle of influence that he has, because I've gained so much from it, and
Hmm.
God has answered a lot of my prayers through that. And so we don't want to abandon that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um so yeah, so
Yeah. Well, and you even look at Jesus, right? He had a circle of friends,
yes,
right? It
yeah,
wasn't just his ministry,
that's
his
right,
circle of friends, they all work together collectively, you
right,
know.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah. So,
Yep, yeah.
yeah.
I will leave our listeners with this. The strongest people aren't the ones who never get tired. They're the ones who know where to go when they are.
Oh, I like it. I
And
like
so, a couple weeks here, I think I had mentioned to you, I am looking forward to Half Moon Bay. Is actually, we're going to be going to Half Moon Bay. I love Half Moon Bay.
it.
And
Okay.
I cannot wait to just go and unplug and just listen to the ocean. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I encourage our listeners, take the time
Hmm.
to unplug,
Hmm.
let God pour into you so
Yeah.
you can, go back to being the chaos coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Give
Ah,
yourself time to hear God's heart. Yeah.
right.
And
Give
know
yourself
what he
time.
wants for you. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you see, I was trying to close, but you just kept on. Now this is my second close, Renee. But it's true when you said that. We do know, we have to know God's heart, and we do know his heart. So that gives us even more reason to not fret, to try to not get caught up in doing things in your own strength, because
Right.
you know God is going to provide. You
Right.
know he loves you. You know he's not going to set you up for failure. So I receive that, and thank you for saying that, because sometimes we just got to be reminded.
Yep. Yep. Amen.
Yes.
See, see how I didn't bait you into a third close?
You did. And that's why I laughed, because I know that amen. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Oh gosh.
But yes. So
On
with
that,
that,
on that, yeah.
anything else?
I think we're good. I think we covered
I
it.
think we are. Well, until next time,
Until next time, you take care.
you too, Renee.
All right. All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.